What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Dillian Whyte's next fight has been announced. He is going to be fighting on the 20th of July, and he will be taking on 26-0 Colombian heavyweight Oscar Rivas. Now, I've seen some reaction online, and the reaction seems to be mixed in regards to this opponent. Some people like the fight, other people don't. But I've got to say, I am in the camp that likes this fight. I think this fight has a level of intrigue, and I've not really got any issue with it. What I will say, this fight is going to be on pay-per-view. In that case, it really does need a strong undercard because casual fans just aren't familiar with Oscar Rivas. They really aren't. So I think this fight does need a strong undercard. You know, maybe have David Allen versus David Price, Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker, Lawrence Okolie versus Denis Lebedev. It needs those type of fights on the undercard to push this, in my opinion. But the main event, taking pay-per-view aside, out of the equation, I think it's a good fight. Oscar Rivas, Colombian heavyweight, 26-0 with 18 knockouts. The guy can punch. He had a decent amateur career, beating the likes of Kubrat Pulev. As a pro, I think Rivas has displayed some good ability. He is a smaller heavyweight at 6 foot, but he's fairly aggressive. He's got a nice jab coming forwards. He's got decent hand speed. He can counter on the front foot. Body puncher as well. Rivas is a good solid fighter. He maintains a good shape. And I think Dillian is the big favourite here, but Rivas is the type of guy who is high risk, low reward, because casual fans or people who don't really follow up on boxing, they don't really know who Rivas is. So if Dillian Whyte were to look bad or even lose, he's going to get crucified. But if he wins, he's not really going to get much credit from a lot of people. So I do believe this fight is high risk, low reward for Dillian Whyte. And I believe this fight does have the potential to be a banana skin type fight. You know, Dillian Whyte, he's improved a lot in recent years. He's the bigger, stronger man. But technically, he's not great. You know, if Rivas could catch him with a counter left hook and he catches him flush, who knows what could happen. Rivas can punch. We saw that against Bryant Jennings. And if you followed Rivas' career to date, you would know this guy can punch. And he is quite explosive, especially early on. So I do think this fight is fairly dangerous for Dillian Whyte. And all in all, I think we could have got a lot worse, to be honest. I mean, at one stage for Dillian Whyte, they was talking about Dillian Whyte versus Manuel Charr. I much prefer Rivas versus Whyte, to be honest. I think Rivas has somewhat of a chance to pull off an upset, whereas, in my opinion, somebody like Manuel Charr would have no chance to beat Dillian Whyte. And by the way, when I say Rivas has a chance, I'm not saying I will pick him. I'm just saying he's got more tools in his toolbox than somebody like Manuel Charr. Rivas can punch. He's a better boxer. You know, better technically, better amateur background. He's just better. So I've not really got the biggest problem with this fight. As a pay-per-view headliner, it is weak. As I mentioned earlier, I do believe this fight needs a big undercard to sell this fight or sell this event. I really do believe it needs a big undercard. And if it does have a big undercard, maybe people will be more happy with the pay-per-view paywall, I guess. Like I said earlier, if this card, you know, was involving the likes of Allen versus Price, Chisora Parker, Okolie versus Lebedev, let's say all of those fights are on the card, I think people will be more willing to part with their hard-earned cash. But yeah, all in all, I don't think it's a bad fight. Dillian Whyte versus Oscar Rivas. I do think it's a good fight. Stylistically, it should be a fun watch, and we could have got a lot worse. Don't get me wrong, I would have much preferred to have seen Dillian Whyte fight somebody like Alexander Povetkin or Luis Ortiz. It's not the best fight out there, but it's not the worst either. So I'm not too mad about this fight. I do think Rivas is pretty good. He is certainly a top 15 heavyweight, So, yeah, that's my brief thoughts on this fight announcement. Not the best, not the worst, somewhere in the middle, in my opinion. Share your thoughts below. Peace.